Hello, very glad you could join us. This is Off the Press on Plus TV Africa. My name is Felicity Ezewuike. Today is the 19th day of the blessed month of Ramadan. We say Ramadan Kareem to all our Muslim brothers and sisters in the spirit of brotherhood. Joining us to discuss major headlines on the national dailies are public affairs analyst Nejeeb, Bello and Ugochukwu Ikeakor. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the program.
Thank you for inviting me.
I understand there was traffic on the way today. Did you experience any?
Yes, I experienced some of it.
Oh, well, I hope it has abated so people can get to their offices.
Yes, of course.
All right, we have some papers. We have the Nation newspaper, we have This Day, we have the Vanguard, and we have the Punch. So we'll just get started with the Nation newspaper. The screamer here is scores held as police battle criminals in Lagos, others. That's the Nation newspaper for you this morning. It should come up on your screen in a second from now. Scores held as police battle criminals in Lagos, others. It has one rider. Operation Puff Adder yields big harvest. Damu confirmed IG. That was one of the trending stories yesterday that came out. Of course, we have other headlines here. Inside, IPOB sit-at-home order. Ohaneze urges federal government to strengthen security. You'll find details of that story on page 42 of the paper. And then at the very top, you have $22 million Abattoir spent on SIP, says presidency. We also have ex-NIMASA chief jailed for 378 million naira fraud. We have some other stories there on your front page. I don't get the delay, so I'll just so you see the papers. So these are some of the headlines for you this morning. All right, let's see what other ones we can take. Court discontinues alleged certificate falsification case against Abdul Razak. You find details of that on page 41 of the paper. We have something on SEC here. NSC streamline listing process. Unilorry others win a JAM awards. How I'll Beat White by Joshua. A little bit of sports for you on the front page, this tiny segment, if you take a look at the paper. All right, we go to the back now where we have Shegu and comment and debate. And you see in times like this, that's on the back page of the Nation newspaper. Yes, there you have it. In times like this, there is a picture of a headsman, so I guess it has something to do with that. You'll have to read that portion because our guest might not be able to delve into it. So just look at some of the headlines this morning. I'll come to you, Nejeeb. Which of these headlines would you just pick on? Just jumps out at you.
Well, I could talk about the court discontinuing the case against Abdul Razak. I think that's Kwara State governor-elect. The person who was pursuing this issue of falsification of results also decided on his own that he didn't want to pursue it anymore. I think we should go more than that. If there is suspicion of a public officer having falsified their results, it should no longer be a personal thing that whoever sued him doesn't want to sue anymore. It should be a thing that the government itself should want to pursue and find out if this thing is indeed true or false and, you know, see the case to the end, as opposed to a personal issue where whoever sued him in the first place says, oh, I don't want to pursue it. It's an issue of national interest right now.
There are also those that will argue that sometimes these people do it for the gains. They actually didn't intentionally want to take it to the final, just want to get attention and get some things.
Exactly, but when it comes to falsification of results, it should be an issue that the government should see to the end. It shouldn't be allowed to just rest because of, like you say, someone who is interested in personal gains. So this is someone who wants to become a governor, and I feel that, well, this is how it has ended for now, but I wish we could do more. Then I will talk about the SEC and NSC. When MTN listed earlier, a lot of Nigerians were thinking they were going to buy MTN shares. You know, everybody was excited. Some people sent me WhatsApp messages that, oh, how can I get it? And, you know, people are still in shock that there's no way they can buy the shares. So I think they're asking questions, and this is what may be causing the NSE and SEC to streamline ways where people understand better what's happening. And also the shares, if you are listed, perhaps you have to sell. Right now, it's just private placement. It's between friends and friends that are selling. There's hardly been any public, there's not been any public sale at all. And people are more, they want to know what is happening with it. And MTN has explained a bit, the NSC and SEC, they've explained a bit, but I think people want a situation where if you are listing shares, let's be able to buy from it. It's gone, MTN shares have gone up to 150 naira right now. Yeah, so people would have loved to gain from all of that, but then let's see, we'll look at what they are offering now, yes.
We want to speak on maybe just one before we move on.
Just for me, just about the story of the Ex-NIMASA chief that's jailed for 378 million fraud. I think it's a good one, all right? Having that case come to this conclusion at this point is good for us, all right? There's a trending conversation around fraud, around corruption in Nigeria at the moment that involves one popular musician. So you heard people like, okay, what are they doing to politicians? What are they doing to the big guys? What are they doing to the people that have looted money over the years, all right? Yeah, we understand that sometimes because of our flawed legal process, sometimes some people take like play the game and play the system and get away free. So if we have stories where someone at the end of the day, despite all their attempts to get out of jail or to get themselves out of this issue, was convicted for fraud, it's a good one. And it also shows that if we put our mind to something, we can do it. So it's a welcome development that someone is being sent to prison because he misappropriated public fund.
On the surface, a lot of persons will say, yeah, but we know that behind the scene, there's something they call plea bagging. Sometimes we hear this screaming headline, and then at the end of the day, you just see maybe the government doesn't get back everything. They just get back a bit of it, and then the headline.
That's normal. It happens all over the world. Like at the end of the day, the person will enter into a plea bagging. But the good thing is that at least we can see for once in a long time that a public office holder that misappropriated public funds is going in guilty for it. And as it stands like this, he's not going to hold any political office again in the future.
Well, that's some win for democracy.
That's some win for us.
All right, let's move on to this day newspaper and see what they're saying. Oh, before we move on, actually, I want you to speak on this. It's like a big issue. Ugochukwu, scores held as police battle criminals in Lagos. That's the headline, but both of you seem to have ignored it.
You see, the security issue in Nigeria, every day we'll keep beating it, we'll keep talking about it. But the good thing is that right now we have an IG that's been confirmed, all right, over Mr. Adamu. And what is happening in Lagos is spread across the city, all right? The security in the city so far is not encouraging, all right? I talk about the hinterland. There's this end part of Lagos, Igando, Ikorodu, some, these are places where you have cultism, and some of them are the hotbed. And at the end of the day, some of these guys, they don't want to do legitimate work. All right, and we understand that, and for some reasons, they feel that the best thing for them is to join cult groups or do illegal stuff or part of bunkering and the rest of them. So I think it's for them to have a situation where they battle police and have some of these arguments, some of these issues, is not a good one for us, all right? We need the police to be on top of this, and the only way they can do that is with proper intelligence, all right? Prosecution, and at the end of the day, work with some of these communities, because there is no way you can have an effective policing if the community themselves, the host community themselves, do not have a good relationship with the police. And that's why I have issues with police, all right? Because it's difficult. If you take a simple poll right now, talk to like 10 Nigerians, a lot of them have issues with police in terms of reputation, in terms of how they treated them in the past. So police themselves need to understand that this goes beyond just policing. Also, because the most important thing we have in this age is a crisis of trust. If somebody doesn't trust you, the person definitely will not work with you. So the police needs to do better. Hopefully we can get this done.
All right, we move on to this day newspaper now, where we have this screamer. Fire meets emergence as NGF chair positions him as a Southwest numero uno. It has one rider, vows not to sacrifice national interest. That's it on your screen there. And then at the top of the paper, we have Senate addresses Buhari's concerns, passes PIG bill, Yabateg upgrade bill, 12 others scale hurdles, pack and pay system underway in FCT. Those are some captions for you on the front page. And of course, we also have Oshibanjo to outgoing governors. Your service days not over yet. Why is the Vice President speaking this way? Well, you got to find details on page 8 of the paper. Let's go a bit down to look at the new leadership in NGF. That's the headline and the picture captured there for you. Some bigwigs. Even the Kogi State Governor is also there. We also see Buhari governors confirm Adamu as IG. That story is captured on The Nation as well. Night Assembly, Lawan Gbadebamila extend reach to stakeholders. Those are basically the headlines on this day newspaper front page. Let's take a quick glance at the back. No? Okay. At the back of the paper, you will see Beyond Ganduje and the Emir. That's it on your screen. Aki Oshutokun. That's some of the headlines for you. Gentlemen, Nejeeb, let's come to you. Which of this?
Yes, I didn't go into the police headline here because... No. Here again, the IG has just been confirmed, and I'm hoping that we'll see more action from him. And he says he will reorganize the police, or like the word he used, he will restructure the police. I'm looking forward to his plans. I hope it doesn't turn out like the CBN governor who was confirmed some days ago, and now he's telling us there may be a recession coming. So I'm going to look forward to what will happen after the confirmation, because a lot of these people, they really work hard before they are confirmed. Unfortunately, once they are confirmed, the laxity comes into it. But Nigeria is in a state where security is the main challenge. It's been the main challenge for
a really long time, actually.
Almost a decade now. But right now, the insecurity is everywhere. I can't see a part of Nigeria. Before we'll talk about Lagos, we'll talk about Cross River State, we'll talk about some few states where there is no real security issues. But right now, all over Nigeria, the northwest, northeast, everywhere. So he has a really arduous task to handle, and I hope he can really handle it the way he's been trying to do lately. And he needs more equipment, he needs more training for the policemen, and there's a lot. In fact, security it's a big deal
issue
right now, and I hope his confirmation would encourage him to do far more.
For me, it's just about the story of Kayode Fayemi, who emerged yesterday as the leader NGF. So my issue is this: we have new governors coming in May 29th. So I don't understand the rush. Today is I think May 24th, right? So I don't understand the rush. Why can't they wait till next week to do this election? Because at the end of the day, he's really head of the governors, right? According to the election, and you have new governors that are coming in. They don't understand you. They don't know anything about you. So how will you co-opt them to work with same agenda or same understanding? Because to an extent, it just seems like, okay, let's just do this thing. Let's have someone to lead us, and it doesn't make sense. And also, Fayemi is talking about national interest. This is somebody in the past that, as minister, all right, did some things that was not allowed. So for me, at least it's a good one for him. It places him in a very good position, a position of key interest in terms of, okay, decide what's going to happen for the next few years. But I don't think this will add any benefit to the lives of Nigeria, because at the end of the day, strictly they've proven so far they're there to just enrich themselves and do election when others are not there to do the election.
Yeah, the concern you just raised is something, an ordinary person will pick up and say it could be for that very reason. That's why the election was held before the new governors coming, to reduce the, you can see the controversy coming on for the night assembly. They've not even been convened yet, but there's so much issue. So I think it's like,
But if I'm a governor, like next week I'm part of the governors forum, and you're asking me that you're Melody, I'm like, young man, I wasn't part of the election process, so I didn't vote for you.
Then when they get to that bridge,
when they get to that bridge, they cross it. But I think it would be nice for them to bet it's all done already. So just have to move on with it.
The Vanguard newspaper is next for review now. We have Oshodi Apapa Expressway. It is a big headache. Well, there seem to be some good news, as you can see on the screen. Truck owners begin vehicles removal today. a couple of writers to that story. Oshibanjo report compliance to Buhari. Stakeholders meet to implement presidential directive. No temporary park under Marine Bridge. That's the Lagos state government. Who will enforce presidential directive? That's an analysis of the entire issue. You find details on page 41. That Oshodi Apapa Expressway headline is something everybody, not even only those that live in Lagos, across this country. It's like a strong economic hub for this country. So yeah, the conversation is very robust in that one. Let's see at the very top. Police Council confirms IGP. We've taken that. May 29th, Katsina Council's inauguration ceremony over bandits, attacks, killings. And then we have Tribunal declines to stop Buhari's inauguration. That's May 9. That's it on your screen there, just above the nameplate. Okay, we have something on suspected kidnappers in Borno State with all their issues there. You have some tramadol bottles, it looks like it, and some stolen documents, medicines, and weapons. Fulanization were behind Obasanjo Christian elders. Let me take that again. Fulanization were behind Obasanjo Christian elders. You want to know about that conversation? Stick around. We have guests in the studio, or you grab a copy of the Vanguard. Police rescue Edo girl sold tries for 1.8 million naira. That's really, really sad. Unscrupulous elements out to tarnish my image. Atiku is screaming. Please listen. Blame federal government for any imminent strike. ASU tells Nigerians. Gentlemen, the back page is sports. Let's just deal with the front page of this paper this morning. Nejeeb, your quick thought.
Well, I'll talk about the Apapa gridlock. It is costing Nigeria a whole lot of money. You bring in goods into Nigeria, you cannot, to take it out of that port, it is a whole lot of expense and a whole lot of time spent. Last year during the Lagos Trade Fair, some people who brought up goods to display at the Lagos Trade Fair, by the time the fair was over, their goods had not arrived they were already in the ports, but they had not arrived at the venue of the trade fair. So they virtually just had empty rooms and told people stories. So now that the federal government, of course, our incoming governor...
Yeah, he's talking tough. He says he's going to deal with the situation.
Yes, in his first 60 days. And federal government has also come out to say, oh, they will deal with it right now. So Buhari has given them 2 weeks, I'm sure. A lot of actions will be taken. Will
this be a long-term deal? Exactly. Because if you say 2 weeks, because we've had this recurrent issue.
When Buhari was visiting, we saw the trucks leave there, and before you know anything, they are back. So let's see how they deal with this thing long-term. I hope it's something that they will resolve once and for all.
Let's hear Ugochukwu's thoughts as well.
I'm not optimistic, all right?
You're not optimistic?
At all. See, in this country, we need to understand, I hope it's not a strategy. Sometime in 2017, I still remember, the vice president flew around.
He flew over Lagos, posted some pictures.
You know, Laulu was telling us then that his media aide that everything is done, settled. That was 2017. Now we're in 2019, 2 years after. Nothing has happened. So please forgive me if I don't want to be optimistic, because we've not
had Sanwo-Olu before. Even if you don't believe the federal government, Sanwo-Olu is saying he's going to do something.
It's part of the Lagos blueprint that has given us traffic gridlock, a bad road. So I don't understand the blueprint is coming with. So for me, I'm not optimistic. I'll just ask Lagosians, please, they just listen to them. If they do it, fine. If they don't do it, I think it's okay. So because for me, I do not understand the need where, for example, like Nejeeb rightly said, the president was coming into town for some days, and all of a sudden it looked like Armageddon happened. We didn't see the trailers on the road. The moment the president entered his jet back in Abuja, everybody was back on it. So I think they enjoy making life difficult for Lagosians. So coming to tell us since 2017 nothing has been done, so I'm sorry, I don't want to believe it till I see it. Then on the issue of Fulanization, I think Christian elders, what they're trying to say, they might have their issues in terms of the federal government giving license for a Fulani herdsmen radio station. But the truth is this, as where we are as a country, I think it would be nice. It would be nice for the Christian elders and everybody at the center of this conversation not say anything inflammatory. All right, it's easy to say that Fulanization, this Fulanization, that. The issue we have in this country at this moment is insecurity. All right, we have a pastoral conflict. All right, some people might call it Fulani herdsmen and the rest of them. The conversation is all fair, but we need to understand there is a pastoral conflict that has a lot to do with climate change issues and, throwing out buzzwords every day, all right, attacking each other will not help in this conversation. We should be hearing from the Christian elders. If you're not okay with the Fulani radio station, ask them to give you a Christian radio station, all right? Then bring out issues. What can be done, all right? We can start having, okay, let's say, for example, within the middle belt, we don't want the cows to pass through. Like, is it possibility for us to have like an acre where they can stay? So, because at the end of the day, we understand, science and medical understand that cows, when they move long distance, the meat becomes strong. So it's better you keep them in a place, raise them, make the meat softer for whoever that wants to consume. So these are the conversations we want to hear. So coming out and throw this buzzword does not help anybody. Obasanjo is fine, all right? He's not going to be here forever. Some of us are still going to be here forever. So we don't need anybody that come to make the polity hotter. At this point, there's too much wahala. So we need somebody that will make us feel a little bit of sense of peace around this country. That's my own.
Nejeeb.
I don't want to even go into that word Fulanize. You know, every once in a while, when there's a problem in Nigeria, they think about it for a long time, then they bring out a word, bandits, for instance. They say, oh, bandits have done it. When you just hear bandits have killed people, nobody even invests, nobody is convicted, nothing, they just carry on. So this is another word that has come in that I don't even want to use it, but then it's here. I think people, we have to be careful the way we just brand people. Like he said, I've looked at the issue with this conflict. Some of it comes from desertification. Some of it comes from the shrinking of the Lake Chad, which from the very moment Buhari was coming in, these are some things he said he would deal with. People don't listen much, but he said he will handle the Lake Chad issue. From saying we'll deal with it, he called our neighbors. Next thing he says the EU, the UN, and so far he's done nothing. If you are from that area and you want to solve some of the issues of insecurity, you want to solve the issues of the herdsmen and all of that, you should be dealing with desertification. You should be dealing with revamping Lake Chad and, you know, making it easier. If we can't handle those things, these herdsmen and farmer clashes will continue, and no level of renaming and naming the issue would solve it.
All right, let's take a quick look before we wrap things up here. The Punch newspaper, that same conversation is captured here. That's what they're going with. Can JNI clash over FG's radio station for herdsmen? That was put another way there. Reps ask Total to refund $592 million to the federal government. That's it on your screen at the very top of the paper. And then just beneath it, you have Atiku alleges plot to set him up once Lai Mohammed arrested over what he says are unsubstantiated allegations. NFIU guidelines ignore governors, Norgay tells Buhari. Then we also have our restructure police operations, IG says after confirmation. Well, let me just ask you a thought before I go to the other headlines. I will restructure. Is he working? What you've seen so far, does that give you some, confidence that something might be done?
No. See, over the last few weeks in Abuja, we've had issue with police arresting women who they call prostitutes, harass them, molest them. Some people protested and went to the Louis Edet house in Abuja. Same police under his command. Say some demeaning stuff against these women and say some other stuff. So for me, there is no hope, all right? For me, I'm just saying, it's not just like I'm being
What about you?
I'm not
what about you, Nejeeb?
I would look forward to what his plans are. He has not shown us over the past couple of months, he should have shown us his restructuring of the police plan.
That's another buzzword,
You
restructure.
see, exactly. Everybody, although some quote him as saying reorganize, but restructure. When I first read the news and I saw restructure, I was like, oh, this man has joined them also. But then his plans should have been in the budget he sent to, to the Senate, to the National Assembly, and hopefully, if we are all hoping that something would change with the security structure. And now that they've confirmed him, I just let him show us his plans and let him get the public engaged. I've always said that the issue with the police is equipment, training, and better funding. It's not about just saying, oh, I'll do this. Then coming to the issue of this
we're
whole
actually out of time.
radio station. Okay.
Yeah,
the radio station,
10
what they are complaining about is a new radio station that is a Fufude radio station. It's going to be broadcast in Fulani language. The government just bought a license for it. And I think it's not just this, we should do away with all these our Hausa language radio station. It does not unify us. If at all we want to get a radio station that will be local for Nigerians, maybe Pidgin English. It's a unifying language.
But I think this is fair, all right, because we are talking about people that Pidgin is not their like, everyday language. And also, the issue is that I think kind of whoever is interested should work with the government to make sure that the right message is being passed across. Message about unity, understanding, tolerance. For me, that is fine. There's nothing bad about it.
Thank you very much, Ugochukwu, Ikeakor, and of course, Nejeeb Bello for coming on the program today. I was going to say the news.
Thank you very much.
But you've given us so much background for all these headlines, and we're appreciative. Of course, we have the Mr. and Mrs. Cartoon, but we're out of time, so we can take a look at it. Go visit your vendor, take a look at the headlines, and be better informed as you go about your daily chores. My name is Felicity Ezewuike, and thank you for watching.